Welcome back to the deep dive. Today we're getting into Psalms chapter 56.
Right. And this one, it really hits on that feeling of being under attack, feeling pursued.
Yeah, like the whole world's kind of closing in. It explores what happens when you feel people are just constantly against you.
Constantly twisting your words, plotting,
Yeah.
that feeling of relentless pressure. It's quite raw.
It really is. The language jumps right out. Be merciful to me, O God, it starts, for men hotly pursue me.
All day long, they press their attack. It's not subtle, is it?
Not at all. Daily pressure, and then they twist my words, they plot to harm me. It's this vivid sense of being cornered.
And misrepresented. But what's interesting is where that feeling leads. It's not just despair.
No, it pivots, and that feels like the first, key thing we pull from this, right in the middle of that fear.
It says, when I'm afraid, I will trust in you.
Exactly, when I am afraid. Not if I stop being afraid or after the fear is gone, but right then.
Yeah, that's insight number one, I think. Fear isn't presented as, like, a failure. It's almost the trigger for choosing trust.
So trust isn't about not feeling fear.
No, it's a deliberate action because of the fear.
Yeah.
A conscious choice you make right in the thick of it.
And making that choice seems to, well, change things fundamentally for the speaker here, because right after that declaration of trust.
Comes that incredibly bold line.
Yeah. In God, whose word I praise, in God I trust, I will not be afraid. And then the kicker, what can mortal man do to me?
I mean, considering he just said they're hotly pursuing him,
Yeah.
it's quite a statement.
It seems almost contradictory at first glance.
But that's insight number two, isn't it? The confidence isn't coming from ignoring the danger or just puffing himself up.
No, it's grounded elsewhere.
It's grounded specifically in trusting God's word. So the insight is that kind of solid confidence, when you're facing real opposition, it doesn't come from pretending the threat isn't there.
It comes from connecting to something bigger.
Exactly. Anchoring yourself to a power that in the end limits what mortal man can actually achieve against you.
There's also that really vulnerable part, though, mixed in with the confidence.
Oh, yeah. The plea about tears.
Record my lament, list my tears on your scroll, are they not in your record? That's incredibly intimate.
It really is such a striking image. And maybe that's insight number three.
Okay, what's the insight there?
Well, it suggests that these really private, painful moments, the laments, the actual tears, they aren't missed. They're seen, they're recorded.
They're valued somehow.
Yes, valued by God. They matter. So the insight is your pain, your struggle, even your tears, they aren't just wasted suffering. They're noticed. They're recorded. They mean something.
So you trace this path, feeling attacked, the fear that causes,
Then the deliberate turn to trust.
which leads to this confidence based on God's word.
And this deep sense that even your suffering is seen and valued.
And then looking forward to deliverance, right?
Definitely. There's this expectation. By this I will know that God is for me, because the enemies will turn back when the cry goes out.
And it ends looking back with thankfulness.
Yeah, being delivered from death and my feet from stumbling, so the speaker can keep going, walking before God in the light of life.
So if you're listening and maybe you feel that pressure, words twisted, people plotting, that kind of thing.
The psalm offers a sort of map, doesn't it?
Yeah. Acknowledging the fear, but then choosing trust, finding confidence not in yourself, but in God's word, knowing your struggle matters.
And holding on to the hope of deliverance, ultimately walking in freedom. It shifts the focus from the pressure to the anchor.
So here's something to think about. If God really does, as this psalm suggests, record our laments and list our tears, what does that truly imply about the value and the meaning hidden inside the struggles you face?